I probably mentioned this to you, but my Peter, Ray's son, is part of the team that's setting up a new COVID center at Duke University Medical. And my friend's son is a doctor in Las Vegas, Nevada, and he says we will not be out of this before the end of 2021. So these guys are right there in, top medical centers and working on the front lines, I think.
Yeah.
And they know.
Well, I'll give you, I subscribe to a very interesting program called Microbe TV. It's a podcast. It's like, it is a podcast, but you can see the people. It's like being on Zoom. And they're the cutting edge of research today. So it's called TWIV, TWIV TV.
Yeah.
And it's all the scientists, they're North Carolina, New Jersey, from all over the country. And all they do is talk about the progress that we're making. Mm-hmm. And it's slow going.
Right. Because people are not cooperating. And poor Dr. Fauci, that's what he was saying. If it's scattered, if it's diffuse, it's not going to work. I think he's being as direct as he can, but he's not coming right out and saying that he's being sabotaged.
He is sabotaged. He's been sabotaged for years.
Poor it is. Well, I don't think he's ever worked with a president like this. I mean, I think he's had cooperation from every president that he's worked with until now. So,
well, it says a lot that the entire globe is working with our scientists. We're not working with our scientists, but the globe is working with our scientists. And they're taking their recommendations. And in November, Trump alerted NATO and Israel to the pandemic. November of last year.
Wow.
Okay, so why didn't we take our own advice?
Right, and plan ahead.
You would think so.
Right.
Yeah.
This is coming because he miraculously thought it would go away. That's his thinking. And he wanted to save his precious economy. That really was Obama's economy, but we kind of complicated.
The economy, really has to get better anyway. It's been stagnating for 10 years now, where people are not really being paid a decent wage.
Oh, right. As far as that goes, yes.
Yeah, I mean, when I was at Ford Motor Company in 1979, guys on the line could make $40,000 a year.
Wow.
I think the base salary then, without benefits, was a minimum, I think, of $24 an hour.
Yeah.
Now, with benefits, it's probably that. So we have a long way to go to climb out of the economic depression that the middle and lower classes have been in.
Right. That's true. I remember laughing because I remember way back in the 80s, I think it was, or maybe earlier, I had a professor who said, when you pay somebody $20 an hour and they're on the line, on the assembly line, that is not a salary, that's a bribe. And so, yeah, I always remember him. So.
They were actually considering that I worked on lots of manufacturing lines.
Yeah.
They work hard.
It's the assembly line. Yeah. The assembly line, though.
Yeah, the assembly line is tough going because if you don't do it right, you've got a whole bunch of product coming up behind you that's going to get.
That's right.
Yeah, right.
So
I used to do solder bushings on these transformers that you see hanging on telephone poles.
Yeah.
For GE up in Pittsfield. And you're right. The line is moving and here it comes down. And you're out soldering 2 bushings on each one. And you could tell if somebody else in the line had a problem because the next one wouldn't be there, you know. Or if you held it up, there was a big hole in between the one you just did and the next one. So you had to keep going. You couldn't miss. Yeah, that was piecework.
Right.
It was a lot. It is a lot to ask out of people.
Yes.
I know Ford tried to open up now under these conditions. And what they did is they slowed the line. They put plexiglass up between all of their workers. They made them social distance. They wear masks. And where 2 people would normally come together, a barrier comes down in front of them. And even so, they test for the virus when you enter the facility.
Mhm.
They had to shut them down.
Oh, my goodness.
Mm.
So they've instituted, like in the old days, we always had medical staff in the factories.
Mhm.
You know, there was nursing staff, there was medical staff. Well, now anyone who reports to work at Ford must come in, say where you've been in the last 2 weeks. You get, you know, they're testing for symptoms and they're also testing for the virus.
That's Wendy and Wayne where they work. That's every day they go through the same question, even though they're the same people and, you know, they know who they are.
Because it's a good thing.
Yeah.
You know, when you think about it, if I wasn't in self-isolation and I was doing my normal running around, I could have come in contact with thousands of people in a day.
Well, that's what happened to Mary and Esther. They, you know, so.
Right? I mean, normally that's what you can do.
Right.
In China, there was a province that bordered Russia and I forgot the other country, North Korea.
Mm.
And some woman worked in Social Security, had no contact with anyone in the other countries at all, but it was like a, you know, close to the border somewhat.
Hmm.
She had 283 contacts.
Oh,
They
my
were
goodness.
all infected.
Wow.
Oh,
That's horrible.
oh,
Right.
You can imagine then. So 283 people.
Right. Times
Go out
200.
and
200. Yeah.
you know, they go out and they see people.
Right. It's 283 squared by 283 squared, on and on and on into infinity.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
that's how you get the pandemic.
Right.
And then you let people travel all over. They said our pandemic did not come from China. It came from Europe and
Right.
dispersed through the states.
Right. Because they say that attorney in New Rochelle had just returned from France. That's what I heard. Rumor has it. That and then of course he went to a bar mitzvah, and the rest is history. So.
of course, there's only one person that keeps pumping and came from China. And
But
Yeah.
that's probably because China's not helping him directly.
Well, it's just tragic. I mean, there could have been preparation no matter where it came from. He knew it was coming, and there could have been preparation for it. Instead, we have to look at a picture of him golfing March 8th. March 8th. That's tragic.
That would have happened on January 20th, let's face it.
Or before that. Before that.
Yeah, it would be nice to see it happen.
And then
Something happened.
we would have saved the economy. And the other thing that the other countries did not do is they didn't let go of all their employees. They paid them 80 to 90% of their salaries. They didn't furlough them or leave them out.
Mhm.
You can't tell me that when you're making trillions of dollars, you can't afford to have a couple of million people, you know, a couple of $1 million on your payroll and continue it.
Mhm. Right.
no excuse for what we did.
Nobody was thinking of the big picture or benefiting the entire population. They were thinking of their friends
But,
and the top layer, wherever that is.
well, it's got to hurt them too, because why are some of the corporations pulling their ads out of Facebook?
Hmm.
Because
Oh, good.
they're making a point of saying that they're not going to promote hatred.
Oh, good. That's good to hear. But it's a small drop in the bucket, and the attitude has already been distributed
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
encouraged, should we say, for the last 3 years. So that's
Well,
tough. That's tough to combat or go uphill against or try and undermine and change. But I
But it's
think
a beginning.
everybody's doing their best.
It's a beginning.
Yes, but they're doing their best.
At least, there's never a bad time to do what's right. So
No.
it seems to me,
Spike Lee.
that's right. So
Yeah.
to me, we got to be able to put more pressure on more corporations, because that's where the money is,
That's
Yeah.
where the money is, all wrapped up.
right?
Right.
And if we want social change, then we have to shame and name corporations who are not in compliance with the rules that we think are appropriate for living.
Right.
There is no other way.
The poorest people who are the most affected, however, have the least influence. I mean, they're doing their best with protests and banding together, but still, people know that they're expendable.